On behalf of Colonel Hilbert and Command Sergeant Major Franklin, welcome to the Hohenfels Community Women's History Month observance. Women's History Month grew from a grassroots educational initiative. The first was a local week-long celebration in 1978 by an educational task force in Sonoma County, California. The following year, the success of that initiative was shared with the Women's History Institute at Sarah Lawrence College, and a groundswell of similar educational initiatives grew around the country. Consequently, in 1981, Senator Orrin Hatch and Representative Barbara Mikulski co-sponsored the first joint congressional resolution to support a national observance of the week. In 1987, the National Women's History Project successfully petitioned the Congress to expand the national celebration to the entire month of March. This month, the DoD pays tribute to the women who pushed gender-defined barriers. They fought for what they believed in, paving the way for the women who came after them, changing the course of history, and redefining the United States military. For too long, women were formally excluded from full participation in our society, democracy, and military service. Because of the courage of many bold women who dared to challenge their preconceived roles, advances were made, discoveries were revealed, barriers were broken, and progress triumphed. During Women's History Month, we remember the trailblazers of the past, including the women who are not recorded in our history books, and we honor their legacies by carrying forward the valuable lessons learned from the powerful examples they set. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce today's guest speaker, Dr. Priscilla Fleischer. Dr. Priscilla Fleischer graduated from Marquette University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with a Bachelor's of Arts in French and English, a Master of Social Work from University of Illinois at Chicago Circle, and a PhD from California Institute for Clinical Social Work. Dr. Fleischer is a licensed clinical social worker and has worked in a plethora of positions in both the public and private sector across a diverse social work spectrum. Dr. Fleischer was in a private practice for many years, working with persons with severe trauma histories, and presented her work at the United Nations Conference on the Status of Women in 2007. She was the Family Advocacy Program Manager at USAG Hohenfels until September 2014. Currently, she is working in Hohenfels for the new Parent Support Program, which provides assistance to soldiers and their families at the Joint Multinational Readiness Center.
Hello, I'm Priscilla Fleischer. I am the new Parent Support Program home visitor here in Hohenfels, and I've been asked to speak to you today about Women's History Month. I am pleased and flattered to be able to do so. The theme for this year, 2020, is the contribution of women to the United States Army. I found a few interesting facts about women serving in our Army that I thought I would like to share with you. From the Revolutionary War to our current conflict, women have made sacrifices for our nation. Women in uniform and those serving in the Army Civilian Corps have placed the needs of the nation above their own. Women in uniform and civilian service experience a level of equality and opportunities that exceed those available in the civilian community. Opportunities for advancement are plentiful for women in the United States Army. Today, there are more than 250,000 women in uniform serving as role models and leaders in the Army. In celebrating Women's History Month, we emphasize the value that the Army places on these women and the diversity and strength they bring to our force. There have been women serving in the military since our country began, and I would like to mention 3 of them who I think represent the historic contributions made by women to our Army. The first is a lady by the name of Deborah Sampson Gannett. She was born in 1760 and died in 1827. She was a Massachusetts woman who disguised herself as a man in order to serve in the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War. She was one of a small number of women with a documented record of military combat experience in that war. She served 17 months, was wounded in 1781, and was honorably discharged at West Point, New York in 1783. The second woman is a lady by the name of Anne Dunwoody. She was born July 1953, and she is a retired general of the United States Army. She is the first woman in the U.S. Army and uniformed service history to achieve a 4-star officer rank, receiving her 4th star November 14, 2008. In 2005, she became the Army's top-ranking female when she received the promotion to Lieutenant General, 3 stars, and became the Army's Deputy Chief of Staff, G4 Logistics. She was nominated as Commanding General, U.S. Army Materiel Command by President George W. Bush on June 23, 2008, and was confirmed by the Senate 1 month later. She served in that capacity until August 7, 2012, and retired from the Army on August 15, 2012. The third person is Lada Tammy Duckworth, born March 12, 1968. She is an American politician and former Army Lieutenant Colonel who has served as the junior United States Senator for Illinois since 2017. As a member of the Democratic Party, she represented Illinois' 8th District in the United States House of Representatives from 2013 until 2017. Before election to office, she served as the Assistant Secretary for Public and Intergovernmental Affairs in the United States Department of Veterans Affairs 2009 to 11, and Director of the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs from 2006 until 2009. She was elected to the U.S. Senate in 2016. She's the first Thai American woman elected to Congress, the first born in Thailand elected to Congress. She's the first woman with a disability to be elected to Congress, and the first female double amputee in the U.S. Senate, and the first senator to give birth while in office. Duckworth is the second Asian American woman serving in the U.S. Senate, after Mazie Hirono and before Kamala Harris. A combat veteran of the Iraq War, she served as a U.S. Army helicopter pilot and suffered severe combat wounds which caused her to lose both of her legs and some mobility in her right arm. She was the first female amputee from the war. Despite her grievous injuries, she sought and obtained a medical waiver and was allowed to continue serving as a lieutenant colonel in the Illinois Army National Guard, along with her husband, Major Brian Bowlesby, a signal officer and fellow Iraq War veteran. Both have since retired from the armed forces. And last but not least, I would like to honor all the wonderful female soldiers around you who work with you every day and who are our current brave heroines. We salute them and we honor their service. Thank you.
Dr. Fleischer, thank you for your inspiring words in support of this observance. Throughout history, women have driven humanity forward on the path to a more equal and just society, contributing to innumerable ways to our character and progress as a people. Today's world requires a diversity of qualifications and resources to ensure that peace and security are achieved and maintained. Thank you for attending the JMRC Women's History Month observance. This concludes today's event. Train to win.